Hi friends. So we are going to keep talking about how we're describing objects being longer or shorter or taller or bigger or smaller than something else. Okay, so I have some handy dandy objects here that we are going to look at, and we're going to help decide if which one's longer, which one's shorter, which one's bigger, which one's smaller, and stuff like that. Okay? Alright, so I have my notebook here on the table. You guys can see it's right here. Okay? And I'm going to be lining up there. I'm going to be lining up these paintbrushes on here, and we're going to be talking about which ones are bigger and which one's smaller, because remember, we have to have something that they both can stand on at the same level, because if we didn't, if I had this and then say I had my phone right here, then they're not at the same level. That's unfair. That's not cool, right? So we're gonna have them start at the same level. Make it so you guys can see me a little bit. Okay. I have it so that it's at the same level. Alright, so which paintbrush is taller? Which paintbrush is taller? The yellow or the orange one? The orange one! The orange one is taller. Look at how much space is in between where this yellow paintbrush ends and this one ends. There's a lot of space, right? There. Or you guys can't see that, but like right here. Yeah? Alright, what if I were to lie them down on here, right? If I were to put them right here, okay. How's that look? Not good, because they're not lined up. We have to keep them all, you gotta put their ends together, like that. Alright, now which one's longer? Still the orange one. The orange one is still longer because there's that much space. So it doesn't matter if we're having them stand up, if we're having them lay down, this one's taller, this one's longer. Okay? Alright, so I have another one. I have crayons. What about these crayons? Which crayon is shorter? Which crayon is shorter? This blue crayon is shorter. Can you guys see it? Because this one's really pointy and tall, and this one's really short. And if I were to lay them down, can you guys see? Oh, the blue one is still shorter. This one's still longer. So the blue one's shorter than the gray one. But we could also say the gray one is taller than the blue one. Alright, and last thing, I have 2 jars. There's a smaller jar and there's a bigger jar. Which jar is taller? This jar or this jar? Which one's taller? This one! This jar is taller. Look how much space there is between them, between the tops of them, right? Okay, so that's how you can use, that's how you guys can use items at your house to talk about which ones are bigger and which ones are shorter, taller. Okay, so great job practicing that, friends. And now I want you guys to get out your workbooks and open up to page 154. And on page 154, we are going to circle the shortest one. So the one that is smaller. So like how I had, if I had my paintbrushes, they're lined up, right? All of these ones are lined up too. If I had my paintbrushes, which one, I want to circle the shortest one. So which one would I circle? The yellow one or the orange one? I would circle the yellow one because it's smaller or shorter than the orange one, okay? So look at the page, and I want you guys, we're going to go through and we're going to circle the shortest one. So, with the flowers, which flower is smaller? How can I tell? Will they both start at the same They're the same level. I'm going to draw a line from the top. Oh, I think I know. Which one's shorter? The purple one is shorter. So you're going to circle the purple one because there's so much space in between them. The red one's taller, so I'm going to circle the shorter one. All right. What about the benches? Which bench is shorter? So we want to look for the smaller one. They both start at the same point. Which one's smaller? The green one. The green one is smaller. Look at where this brown one ends. There's so much space in between there. Yeah. All right, let's look at the boats. They both start right there, right? Okay. Which one's shorter? Which one are we going to circle? We're going to circle the one with the white sail. Yep, because there's a bunch of space right there. All right, and what about the bats? The bats are both lined up right here. Which one's shorter? Which one's smaller? The blue bat. The blue bat is smaller. All right, friends. You guys just circled the shortest object in those pairs. Yeah? So you guys looked at them, you compared them, you decided which one was bigger, you looked at which one was smaller, and you circled the smaller one. So I want us to look at how these problems are a little different. So these ones, so like the flower and the boat, those ones we were talking about how high they were. So if they were taller or shorter, right? So that's height, okay? Maybe you can practice saying that word, height. Height, okay? So that's like when you're standing up really tall, okay? And then we also talked about which ones are longer. So it's kind of like when you're sideways. So like if I was laying on the ground, I would be longer than maybe like a remote or something, right? So I'd be longer. So there's a difference between height and length, okay? So the ones that are standing up, that's height, and the ones that are laying down, that's length, okay? All right, so how are they the same? How is it the same kind of thing to go around when we look at how tall something is compared to how long something is? How was finding which one was shorter, how was that the same in both cases? In all cases, actually. Yeah, we talked about which one had more space. Where one stopped, if there was another one that kept going, either height or length, the one that kept going was the taller one or the longer one, okay? Cool. And then how did you guys decide? How did we decide which bat was shorter? How did we decide that? What was the first thing that we made sure the bats were? They were lined up. We had to make sure with everything that we measure, we have to make sure that they all start at the same point or same line. That way we know that they can be compared accurately, right? Okay, so you guys could see that the handles of the bats were lined up, right? Right here. Ooh. The handles of the bats were lined up, and then we can use that as our starting point. We can tell which ones are longer and which ones are shorter. All right, good job, friends. You guys worked really hard, and I will see you for our next video.